Welcome to another episode of Let's Catch Up with Sherani. I'm here today with my friend, my celebrity friend, teacher Allison Lewis. Allison, say hi to our family.
Oi, family!
Allison, I love that energy that you came here with today. Welcome to my home.
Thank you.
I'm so happy that you are here. No, I don't know family, but I woke up this morning in a really good mood. I feel so blessed. I feel so grateful. When Allison came to the house, we were dancing.
Oh, yes.
We played a little bit of gospel music and we were dancing, just giving thanks. And I'm happy today because for the entire week I was really grumpy. But today I woke up with a grateful heart. So family, we're happy to be back. We know that we missed a week, but that's okay. So Allison is a teacher. And the reason we're having this interview today is because the teachers need help. So we want the parents to listen to this interview, and we want young people, school children, high school, college, we want you to listen to this because there's an obvious problem that the teachers are facing, that even the parents are facing, and we want to discuss it so that we can help. We can help you, we can help us. All right? So teacher, we were speaking last night, we had a long conversation, and you were saying that teaching has become even more challenging in this era, right? Some of the things that we touched on, we spoke about the kids had gotten accustomed to this new age learning, this new age teaching. So they were in school, they were out of school, they were in school, they were out of school, and now that they are back, tell us about some of the challenges that you are facing with getting them to settle down and to focus.
Okay, so the children are, like you said, in school, out of school.
Yes.
But it's not just the government or the ministry saying we have to close for 2 weeks because the numbers are rising. It also has to do with the children are not at school every day.
Okay, so yeah.
In their minds, if they have a day off, now it's difficult now to pull a child back after their day off. Although you say homeschool or home study, it is not. To them, they are at home. And by extension, the parents see them as being at home. But what it is that they're at school still, but they're at school
Right.
at home. So even if there's not the virtual learning taking place, that a teacher will not come and we have to sit and the child is there, but the child is supposed to be doing work. So where I'm going to speak to our family and speak to our parents is that you don't see this as a time for children to go and run errands. Or there is this babysitting. Now, it's true. If you have children and an older one is there and the younger one, yes, the child is to take care of because you don't have a choice. You have to go to work. However, this thing of setting a whole set of chores for the children, it doesn't work.
But teacher, allow me to interject and allow me to support you. So what I am understanding you're saying is that, okay, so the children, they're not in school every day. They have lessons every day. It's still the set school week, Monday to Friday. But some days, it's like intervals. They're in classroom on Monday, they might be home on Tuesday.
Right.
But we, the parents, we're not supposed to say, oh well, Sherani is home today, so she's going to look after the baby, and I want you to cook, do the laundry. You must not do it because the children, although in the house, it is a school day, it's a day for learning, so they need to get online or whatever project you've assigned. They need to do it. And I heard you say, teacher, and I just wanted to correct something. I heard you say that, you know, we understand that some of you have smaller children and you might want the bigger ones to help. That child, your little baby, does not belong to your teenager. You got the child, you have to look after the baby. And if the teenager or the older child is at home, it is not fair to put your baby with the child and say, oh, well, I'm not paying for the babysitter today, because what happened if they had school? What would you have done? All right? And teacher, Allison, we were also saying that this has significantly impacted their ability to get their assignments in on time. So speak to our family a little bit about that.
So the students are not sticking to the deadlines, and I think there's a little bit of disconnect. Parents don't realize that at this point, especially what is happening, the kids are struggling. You know, it's new for everybody. It's new for them. It's new for us, and they now need that support system.
Yes.
You know, there's a saying that it takes a village to raise a child.
It absolutely does. Yes.
It still takes a village. So therefore, parents, teachers must come together for this child.
Yes.
The job is not only the teacher's own or only the parents' own. It belongs to both of us. So
Yes.
when the child is sent out and has assignments, parents just check, just ask.
Do you have homework?
They have homework.
Yes.
Let me see it. Because as long as you say, let me see it, because they're supposed to have the date and the assignment.
Yes.
So you as a parent, you don't have to know whether the assignment is right or wrong, because that's the job of the teacher.
Yes.
But the job of the parent is to ensure that it is done. And that is where we're having a little bit of a problem.
Yes, let me support you. Again, I want to support the teachers. You said, and I want to just repeat that when the children have homework, you're not asking them if you have homework. When they come home, they have to wash the dishes and take out the garbage. And that's okay, because everybody has responsibility, but their priority really is to learn. This is a time when we are molding them for society. We are molding them for the workforce. And the other end of this, if you're failing as a teacher, Alison, and the parents are failing, when they come into the workforce, we have a real problem, because sometimes they manipulate certain things. And okay, so even if they study and they study and they pass their tests, their CXC exams, or whatever they have now, and they come into the workforce, what we're finding is that they cannot read properly, they cannot write, they cannot spell, they're writing as if they're writing on WhatsApp. And that has been a real problem. And then the application of the knowledge. They have all this knowledge. Oh, miss, I have 7 or 8 distinctions. And you bring them in. The attitude. That's another thing we're going to discuss today. The attitude of the children is so bad, because you, the parents, are not teaching them what you're supposed to teach them. And it's difficult for them to be in the workforce. And then they feel entitled, because they feel like, oh, well, I'm supposed to get a certain amount of money because I have, all these passes. Some of them, they leave school, they go straight to university, do their bachelor's degree, then some of them stay and do their masters, and they become professional students. But when they come into the workforce, they cannot contribute. And another part of that we spoke about last night, Alison, is the fact that the parents now are not molding them the way that we were molded, to say good morning, to say please, to say thank you, to be good citizens, to have consideration for others. Do you want to speak about that as well?
You see, I think we started our conversation weeks ago when we spoke about emotional intelligence.
Yes.
And academic skill.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're talking about has to do with emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And it is something that must be taught vis-a-vis the geography, the biology, the math, and the English.
Yes.
So a lot of these students are coming, like you said, into the workplace without those skills. And these are necessary skills.
Absolutely.
Saying thank you, saying please, being aware of persons around you, being emotionally aware. You see, when they're teenagers, it's all about them. They're very egocentric. It's a part of their makeup.
Yes.
But we have to teach them what is the right and the wrong thing.
Yeah, common decency. Yes.
And sometimes parents they don't want to, because they don't want to offend the child.
You want to be friends with your child.
We cannot be.
Yes.
We cannot be friends.
Yes.
You can be friendly with your child.
Yes.
But you cannot be your child's friend.
You're the parent.
There has to be separation, and that is where also the school needs the support, because you want to lay down the rules and you have to. So uniform rules, for example, which is something that children fight.
Uniformity.
They fight against wearing the uniform properly, and parents will see a child, a girl child especially, with the uniform shorter than
It's supposed to
it's
be.
supposed to
I
be.
want to say something to that, Alison, because okay, so I want to say that it's the age-old saying that your attitude determines your altitude. You know, the way you portray yourself and the way you behave, it determines how far you go in life. Just it takes nothing for your child to say good morning. Tell them when they get on the bus. Even you in the house, they're passing you straight in the morning. They're not saying good morning. They're supposed to say good morning, mom, good morning, daddy, morning, grandma. Teach your children common decency to say please, to say thank you, to say may I, and to say no thank you. You know, teach your children these things because that goes a long way. My grandmother used to say, nobody like old children. And then coming back to the issue of uniformity, where you said that the kids, they don't want to be uniform, they're fighting against the uniform. I remember, Alison, that my grandmother, everybody in school, all the girls in high school had this skirt nice over their knee, and my grandmother had my skirt almost by my ankle. And then my socks had to come up to meet the skirt. My blouse, my school blouse had to be down in the skirt with the belt. Well, that time I had a nice waistline. And also, she would plait. Well, I had natural hair, still have natural hair. She would plait these big plaits with a Vaseline on her forehead. And she used to always say, a child is supposed to look like a child. You have your kid, when we have our children, I'm putting myself in the collective, when we have our children and they're not attired appropriately, then we attract, you know, different things. And also it's very distracting in school if the girl is wearing a short skirt. It's distracting for the boy.
It's for the boy.
So, you know, she's messing up her own learning and his learning. So we want you as the parents to really, you know, be mindful. Sometimes they leave home in one skirt and they reach to school in a different skirt.
It is true. So you have these. But I want to say that this is not every child.
No, it's not.
So we have some parents who are doing wonderful job.
I was a nice child.
We're not talking about. Okay, we're taking that. Okay,
I was a nice child.
We're taking that.
Yes.
But there are parents out there, and they're doing a wonderful job, and we thank you. And they're supporting the schools. And you know, you cannot take the bar without looking at what is happening, and that is good.
Exactly.
When it is true. So these are things that persons need to emulate. People who check on homework, who check that the child is there, who
speaking to the teacher,
call,
yes.
Right, will call the teacher, will make a call, not at 2 o'clock in the morning though, or sending WhatsApp messages.
Teacher said, do not call at 2 o'clock in the morning.
And that is a serious thing where parents, yes, will call in the middle of the night to talk about an assignment that the child handed in late that you have said you're not accepting. So these are things, but there are those who will do what is right, and the students who will. It is it's a minority.
It's a small fraction of the parents who are not supporting you.
Not supporting, and we really need that.
Let me help you with this, Alison, teacher. You're right. And I feel, you know, it's funny because, you know, there's something called the transference of energy. As you're speaking, I can feel your passion, and I can see how important this is to you, and I can see that you're walking on eggshells because you don't want to offend the parents. But me not teach, so me can say what me want, you can't do me nothing. So what teacher is saying is that do not come after her late at night, 12, 11, early morning, 2 o'clock, to argue or to confront her about as an assignment that your child submitted late. But because she's not going to accept it, you're calling her at that time. It's not fair. You are responsible. We are responsible as parents to ensure that the children are doing what they're supposed to do. They're following all of the rules at school. They're doing their homework and they're submitting their assignments on time. Rules are rules. In the workforce, there's going to be deadlines. In the workforce, there's a lot of deadlines. You understand? And in school, sometimes you get a chance, but in the workforce, you get fired. So you have to really mold the children now. So when they get into the workforce, that, you know, they're productive and they can, you know, hold their own. So, teacher, let's talk about something else. We were talking about, well, not something else, because you just said it. We're saying that there's a small percentage of parents who are really supporting the teachers. Yes. And last night you told me that you love these parents. When my son was in school, I was on the PTA. I joined the PTA I would always, in fact, the moment he got into the car, I would say, how was your day? Do you have homework? That was always the second question. How was your day, honey? Do you have homework? So that is something that has to be a ritual with you and your children. Make sure the children are doing the assignments. And one of the things my ex-husband used to do, which used to gripe me, but thank God it has paid off so much. Even when my son didn't have homework, he would say, okay, do some reading.
Exactly.
Do some reading and, read ahead of the teacher, read ahead of the class. And that has worked so well because sometimes this child would tell me things, I'll be like, how you know that? He said, oh, I read it, because he got into the habit of reading. So, teacher, do you want to just talk a little bit about the importance of reading at any age for the children?
Our kids now
sorry, and I don't mean WhatsApp.
our kids now are so tech savvy. And they all have tablets. And it is necessary. Technology right now is necessary. So a child having a computer, a laptop is no longer a luxury. It is actually a necessity for school.
Yeah,
especially with this virtual learning, the child must have it. But these kids are smart. So they want everything else but read a book.
They're on TikTok.
They're on
WhatsApp,
TikTok and
YouTube.
And they told me something about Snapchat.
You're laughing, the cool.
And these things. Yeah. So this is what they are on. Now you will see a child and he or she will tell you they're reading. But they're not. And also, here's something that is important. They have a 6-year-old nephew. And he would type whatever it is he's looking for, trucks, whatever he wants. And he would start typing trucks. And then he has noticed that there's a voice command. So on the tablet, he just says it. Now when
so teacher said that means he don't even need to know
he doesn't know how to spell.
But he can ask on Google Command.
That is right. And what his mother has done is said to him, there is going to be a paper day. So paper day is when you take an actual book.
I like that.
And you move away from the tablet, so that tablet goes to the day.
Good
and
idea.
There's a paper day.
I like paper day.
And so
not for me, I'm too old for paper day, but for the
for them, it is something that parents you must do. And you must oversee. The teenagers will go in their rooms with the tablets and they stay there for hours.
So you reminded me of something. When my son was younger, he sent me a message on the phone. I think he wrote, "Mommy, there's no juice in the house." THERE, but he spelled the other there. As I saw it, it upset me because I'm not even thinking about me because I'm mommy. I love him regardless. But when it's in the workforce or with his teachers, I know that's going to be a problem. So I sent him back a message and I said, do not send me any text starting today with any inaccurate words. For about 3 months, every note he sent me was a voice note. he just decided he wasn't going to write it because I was correcting him. I'm like, I just spell your words properly, don't type to me. My sister, even a day like today, we're grown women, and she would say to me, I used to be really annoyed with you, Sherani. You used to tell me, don't speak to you in slang, and I used to do it with her, and I told her I wasn't trying to be mean, but she was in school, and she needed to spell out the words, so I was doing it as a learning curve for her, so I understand. And do you know how I found out about the voice command? I got some medicine. I received some medicine from the doctor one day, and I always, kind of fact check. So I told my son, I said, son, check and see what are the side effects of aspirin. He said, okay, mom. He grabbed his phone. What are the side effects of aspirin? My eyes opened wide. I said, who are you talking to? And then I heard Google say, aspirin. Aspirin can.
And that is why
I didn't even know it existed. That the young people didn't know all sorts of things.
And that's why I say they're so tech savvy. So we now, as the adults, although a lot of adults don't read, right now, because
I like
the technology
I like
as well.
Yes.
But it is something that we have to sit next to them and say, listen, pick up a book. They'll tell you the book is on the phone. Okay, let me see it. Go ahead and read. Read the newspaper. Well, they don't read newspaper. They don't read.
They don't keep abreast of current affairs. They know what's going on in America.
They
know what's going on here.
They know what's going on, what they want to know what's going on, right? When they want to. But it is something, what you're saying is so important that these children are not reading. And it is something that we have to do. So even the textbooks, we have to ensure that these children read. And parents, you must come in and you must support us in that way. And it's not for us, it's really for them. Because like you're saying, when they get into the workforce, you have to read.
They're a liability. You invested in training them, and then they go, and then the attitude. Yeah, it's a bad combination. Yes, and teacher also. We were saying last night that they're so lucky because when we were younger, we didn't have the resources that the children today have. They have the computer. They have the World Wide Web with anything anything you want to know, you can find out there. We had the big encyclopedias. In my little poor household, we couldn't afford encyclopedias. We used to borrow dictionaries or share them and thesauruses and, try to really study the notes that was given to us, that we wrote. Every single class, we used to write like hours and hours of notes, and these are the notes that you would go home and read to study for your test. So they have it so easy. When my son was in high school, and the teacher would teach one way to do a sum, and he would forget. I would say, okay, let's go to YouTube, and we would look at another teacher teaching the same, teaching algebra, teaching anything. So if they want to use YouTube and they want to use the phone and the computer, use it to your advantage to pass your courses and to understand the knowledge that is being disseminated. I was telling you last night, I learned the periodic table from doing homework with my son.
Yeah.
You as a parent, sometimes it's good to engage with the child and learn some things. Also, when they're doing free writing essays, because they write things about their life that you're like, oh, okay, you don't even know that's their perspective on certain things. So it's really, really good to get involved with the child, spend time with the teachers. I heard you say that you appreciate the small number of parents that are really partnering, because that's what you need to do, parent. You need to partner with teacher Allison and the other teachers to make sure that your child is learning. Imagine you're old and you get a prescription and your child can't read it, your child can't help you in no way, shape, or form when your eyes gone bad. Reading is so important when they get the check. Reading is so important if, they get medicine, they want to read about it if they don't know about the voice command. The reading is so, I am X years old and I still love to read, but you see, it's because it was a part of my molding process. Reading, it was always a part of what we did. We would even line up our dolls and read to the dolls, and reading was exciting. Now, just before you go on, you say something else. There was this gentleman I worked with, may he rest in peace, he passed, Mr. Mark Ozawa, and one of the things he did with his children, he told me when they were growing up, he said every Saturday he would tell each of them to choose a book of their choice, and him, his wife, Linda, and the kids, Katie and Sarah, they would go to somewhere and they would all sit and read, and then they would discuss what they read. And I thought that was a brilliant idea. Have reading, like a reading hour with your child. The mother can do it, the father can do it, the entire family can do it. Reading comprehension. We did that in school. We'd have to read a passage and then explain to the class what we understood from the passage. And these things are gone. So I know it's harder for you. So let's talk about teacher. One important thing you told me again last night was about you are learning this new age teaching.
Oh,
yes.
When COVID set us back in terms of what it is we had to do, there was nothing like best practices because there was nothing practiced. When we were basically sent home over the weekend, then we were told don't return to work, don't return to face-to-face. And so we had to learn this new program.
Wow, yes.
And it wasn't learning how to use the computer, but how to use the software packages like Google Classroom or Edmodo.
Google Classroom?
Google Classroom or Edmodo, which is what most schools are using right now.
So, excuse me, so that is what the teachers use to be able to teach
online. Virtual learning.
It's similar to a Zoom.
Yes, it's similar to a Zoom. And some persons use Zoom as well. But with Google Classroom, for example, you can do assignments and you
submit and upload assignments.
And that can happen.
A teacher,
you can have a grade book and all of those.
Are you all getting more money for this new teaching?
Let's not go
strategy.
So we're not talking about that. So What really?
Just ask a question
What
of the
happened?
lady.
No, that question. We cannot deal with that. We need another show for that question.
Okay.
And you may need other people to come on that show too.
Mm.
So what a lot of people had to do was to learn this program.
Right.
So for example, I mean, I've been teaching for years.
How long have you been teaching?
Too long. Long enough, but long.
Very
So
long.
it's like over 20 years.
Who a young spring chicken?
Close to
like
30
you?
years.
Mm.
Maybe more.
Right.
But anyway, what we had to do, what I had to do was totally change the manner in which I taught.
Mm-hmm.
Because the methodology is different. You learn things like pair tutoring. So you group children together and you
Projects.
group work
Yeah.
and in the class because children learn from each other. How are you doing that online?
Right.
Exactly how. So we had to learn how to use the program.
But isn't that a perfect opportunity for the parents, because you're supposed to know who your children friends are, for the parents to peer them with other things. I said, why don't we have a study group? Bring over two of your friends and
no, but remember we had COVID, yeah?
Sorry,
so,
yes.
So that is
Point.
it.
Yes.
You know, the pandemic. The pandemic
Okay.
did a lot of things for both teachers and students.
But teacher, if they could get together with their friends, then have these calls where all of them talking together.
Yes, they can
so
do
they
that.
could do that with
But
their
you
friends.
can't. Yes, you have a group work that is assigned after hours.
Okay.
But then when you have group work within the classroom, so you're now in a virtual classroom,
Yes.
and there's certain things that you cannot do. So there was a rethink of how to do things. So persons ended up knowing how to use PowerPoint and using the class of PowerPoint and Google Docs and
you use all these things in the office. We use all these things in the office because we're consistently doing presentation. We're consistently uploading and saving
now.
files.
So this is something.
So these are things they need to learn.
The kids have learned, and I will always say, COVID has taught us a lot. The children have learned a lot, and this is what I think has saved us with the children. That because they are tech savvy, it is easy for them to pick up things because this is their learning. This is their environment.
This is their thing. But then the teacher now struggling because
because
not you, but some of the teachers are struggling.
Well, I struggle too because I did assignments that I posted online and I never saw where the children put in their work because I just didn't know what to do. And I have to call a child and tell her, ask her what to do. Because they know it, so teach me. Right? It had reached this stage.
Yeah.
But the whole thing with the technology, I get the reading. The children must learn the reading.
Of course.
But you see, use of the technology, it is necessary for now.
It's necessary for now in the workforce and in the future.
It's necessary for now. So
it's
the
futuristic,
child who is, and that does not mean that they stay on all the time, but the child who can navigate and navigate well.
It's like they're born
is
so.
a step ahead.
It's like they're born so. I kid you not, I cannot effectively control any of the television sets in the house, the cable boxes,
The children
anything technical. I call my son for everything. LJ, come and do this for mommy. Sometimes I press a button and the TV gone mad. I'm like, LJ, I mash up the TV. Come and fix it for mommy. And he'll just come and walk away.
It has to be so. It has to be so.
That's smart. Yeah.
Because even teaching has to move from going into the textbooks.
Yes.
So now I will tell students, listen, here's the topic, here's the objectives. Okay, I don't do that every class. But every now and again I say, bring in your devices because you know what, they have the devices.
Of course they do.
So bring it in. And things have changed
Children
so
rich,
much.
they have all kind of things.
It's not even rich, huh? It's something that's necessary. So things have changed so much that before, if a child is on the phone, I would say, what are you doing on your phone? Right now, I'm asking children to bring their phone to class so that I can get them to do the work in class. Because we have to change
even a
with
phone,
the times.
Even a phone in the school setting is important
It's not
for the children to
because
have.
we're going to use it because they have it. And so as teachers, we have to flow. We cannot stay back in 2022 and use methods that we were using in 1980 to teach.
You're absolutely right, teacher.
Yeah.
You've really shared some important information today, and I know that this topic we can talk forever. But just before we close, I want to just ask one thing, and this is not even about the new age teaching and how the kids adapt. And we've already said that you, the parents, need to really partner with the teacher to ensure that your child is meeting deadlines, doing homework, not just wasting time on the phone and the computer, but really, working on the assignments and using their resources to pass. Right? One of the things that always griped me, I realized, and only after I did studies in the outer world versus the Caribbean way, I realized like some people learn differently. And then again, there are some children who learn by example, doing it. And there's some children who learn in a conversational setting. They have, I guess I'm basically
Different
trying
types
to
of
say there are
learners.
different types of learning.
Yes.
How are you able to reach people like me? I have a sister, you can tell her, Keisha, bap, 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 bap. Okay, she got it. With me, okay, so when you tell me, I'll be like, okay, so tell me again. And I'll say, so you said, ba, 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 ba. But I have to ask you like 3 questions to make sure that the decoding and encoding, I am really understanding what you're saying. And then, because once I got it, I got it. But my sister will got to ramble it off, and she'll be like, oh, okay.
So this is
And that sister didn't go to university, I did. And I always say that she is so smart. She's brilliant. So how are you reaching the different children, or what is the different children? Children who learn in different ways when everybody has to sit behind the computer some days.
And that is where the problem comes in. Because, sometimes you pick up, they don't say anything. A child may not understand. And everybody's saying yes, miss. And the child says yes, miss, but does not understand. But this is what we pick up as teachers, body language.
Oh, good.
So you look at the child's face and you see, no, you don't understand.
That one ain't understand.
So, you repeat. So that is why with virtual learning, this is what made it difficult. Because yes, you are saying, or challenging, because a lot of teachers took their time and they overcame that challenge. So when you say it in the class, you have to write it. You have to send a video, so you have to look for videos.
Yes.
You may have to make a PowerPoint presentation because you have to reach all of them. And that's what made it challenging for us as teachers. Even those of us who are very experienced. And so those who are not, again, they're just learning.
Yes.
So that is why, a lot of parents, I heard, well, not a lot, but people would say the teachers are not doing what they're supposed to do during the virtual learning time. Some of the teachers did not know what to do and did not know how. In all my years of teaching, the 2020 into 2021 was the most difficult,
the most challenging for teachers
I have ever had.
And over 20-something years of
It's not the content.
Right, because you know what you
I know the content, but it's
the
reaching
methodology
the children.
to get them.
Yes,
yeah.
reaching the children. Because yes, you've learned all these different styles at Teachers College and when you're doing further education in the education field, but how do we reach the children now?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes. A child is online and there's this background noise. So when you ask, Sherani, what's the answer? And the child wants to know.
Y'all stop it. The children online.
Sometimes it's not their fault.
I know, but this is what I'm about to say. I'm about to support you. Because they had it as jokes where when online classes first started, the children, I saw one where the child in the classroom and the parent passed behind their kid.
Yes.
Or you hear pots and pan. So I'm supporting you. Stop it. Give the children a secluded space.
But I will always lean on to some parents who are trying but cannot. Because of the situation. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it's noise in the foreground or in the background. Like a lot somebody for a weed eater.
A dog.
Or a dog that is consistently barking. And even for teachers too, because we at home. And so we may have a dog that constantly barks.
Wow.
Or we have the neighbor who is cutting their grass. What can you say? But you have to teach.
Right. So there's challenges
even with
that.
Yes. On both sides.
How are you finding them when they have the day off and they come back? Are they lethargic? Are they sluggish? Are they focused? Are you finding the consistent transition from home to in class, home to in class?
It's sometimes difficult.
It's difficult for them. It would be difficult for me. Yes.
It's difficult for anybody. Mm-hmm. I mean, we get it when we have a long holiday and then
Yes, and
kind
you
of
go back
drag
yourself.
back.
Even Monday,
For the
everybody
next
hate
day,
Monday.
right.
Not me, I love Monday.
So
Yeah.
it is something, and so we have to do what we have to do to get these children back on. So you have to say,
Back on
I
track.
had a class one day because they were so lethargic. All right, everybody, 10 jumping jacks. Oh, they were bored. But
They were bored?
Oh yes.
That's fun to me.
Because they had to drag themselves out of the chair to do the 10
The jumping jack.
jacks.
Hey.
The thing
That's
is,
fun.
we now have to be extremely creative.
And I'm thinking, because the reason I ask you, that bothered them, you see, because I come from an age where PE was PE. We used to love PE because we go there and run up and down, do all these things. And I'm an active person, I love these things. That'd be fun for me to break the monotony, to be able to jump around. But then I remembered as you were speaking, these children are accustomed to no kind of exercise. They sit on a little thing all day. So yes, so that would annoy them. Yes,
it's something they have to get up and drag themselves.
Well, teacher, as in what when we're closing.
Right.
When I was in school, when I was in university, I had the same issue. People would meet me outside the classroom and say, Sherani, you need to stop it. We want to go home and you're asking too many questions. Because as I said, they would understand instantaneously. You have to tell me 3 times, right? And it's so funny because some would come and kiddingly, they would kid, they'd attack me and say, Sherani, you need to stop asking all those questions. You're holding back the class. And then some would come and say, like, girl, I said I understood, but I didn't. I'm glad you asked that question. Now I got a better understanding. So I understood perfectly, and it has happened to me in my young days, grade 3, 4, 5, when I didn't understand, but everybody said, yes, teacher. And I'm there like, oh, everybody understands. So I don't want to look dumb, so let me don't say anything. You understand? So much so, in grade 4, every single week, we had to learn something and come back. And this particular week, we had to learn our tables, our timetables. And I didn't hear which timetable she said to learn, but apparently it was your 9 timetables. So she'd go around the class, 9 times 1, 9 times 2. When it came to me, she said 9 times 9, which is 81. I didn't know because I didn't study it because I was afraid to ask. And old-time teachers, you couldn't ask them too many questions either. Because they would say, oh, you're not listening. So I was afraid to ask, and that 9 times 9, I got so many lashes. I think I got 9 lashes. I never forgot 9 times 9 again. But you can't hit the children now. You can't do these things. It's abusive. So life has really, really changed. So teacher, in closing, what do you want to say to the parents and to the children? Take it away.
Parents, support us. That's it. Check on the children. Ensure that they have what they have, and ensure that you are there, and that's all they need. They just need somebody to sit next to them and ask questions. What is this? What is that? What happened today? What did you learn today? What did you do in the day off? I'm calling you at 12 to find out what happened. What is going on in the house?
Yes.
That's all we need. We just need the support so that we can do our part and you can do your part. And students, you have to do it. This is your time, this is school, this is what you're supposed to do. So focus, use the technology, and work with us, and all will be well.
So thank you, teacher. I love teacher Allison. So family, thank you again for joining us on another episode of Let's Catch Up with Sherani. We'll see you again sometime soon. Bye.
Bye.